Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the National Door Controls part number 100 retrofit pivot is what this is. There's an image above and then images down below showing the individual pieces, and what this unit is for is the following. You have a floor, or your client has a floor closer, and you or your client doesn't want to replace the floor closer because it's failed or whatever the case might be. Pulling it out obviously compromises the hanging of the door. Pulling it out makes a problem hanging the door because you have to replace it. The entire point of the NDC 100 is that you're not going to replace it. You're going to abandon it in place, and then you want to convert it to a condition that will allow you to use a less expensive surface closer. That's generally where you're going to see this. There's a link below this video to the installation instructions. There's actually two pages. This page, and then there's another page demonstrating how the bottom pivot needs to go together. And the installation instructions are quite simple and straightforward, and there's additional data even down below that will show you what comprises this kit. But in summary, you're going to get, well, you'll get the bottom arm, okay? The bottom arm is going to be attached to the bottom of the door, and you will remove, most likely, you're certainly going to remove whatever arm is there and place this. The dimension from the jamb or from the edge of the door, however you'll measure it, to the vertical center line of pivot needs to be maintained. So where that shaft is coming out of the floor closer, be sure that the center line of that shaft and the center line of this circular recessed area in this cast aluminum material is maintained, because that's the vertical axis of pivoting. That's what will allow the door to operate properly. You'll get the item here for attaching the material. Hopefully you can reuse the existing holes. If you can't, you've got thread forming screws that are here. Okay. You're also going to get with it a piece of angle aluminum, and this will be the stop if you need it. If you are converting from a double acting door to a single acting door, which is very likely, you'll need to install the stop so that the door doesn't swing into or past where it ought to, damaging the new installation of the surface closer that you're probably installing. You'll get this and then a couple of screws for this as well. There's two of each of these screws. I think I held one of each up earlier. There's two pan head screws and two flat head screws. The pan heads are for the bottom arm. The flat heads are for the stop, should you be using that. Okay. Use this only if you need. Anything that you remove from the bottom of the door, salvage that. Don't throw it away just yet at all, okay? Because you might need parts to make this installation work. If you are dealing with getting to the heart of the matter, you've got the sleeve, you've got the bearing. This can go on one of two ways. It can go on the correct way, where it's flush like this, or the incorrect way, where it's not flush at the bottom. Page 2 of the installation instructions calls out showing you to be sure not to do that incorrectly. This will sit down over the shaft. If you have a shaft that is 7/8, and they call it out in the installation instructions, 7/8 diameter, like the Rixson 28 or the Doramatic 2600, you might need this sleeve that will fit inside of there. Maybe you don't. You're probably going to need shims, and you may have encountered some shims down at the bottom of the door. Well, 4 you're going to get with the order, and it's possible that you will need to use those, and the shims are going to go, bottom arm is attached to the door, the sleeve is going to go down and over, and this mates like this. You might need those shims to come underneath to build that up, and this shim will physically sit on the top of the outer perimeter of the shaft assembly, okay, allowing the door to just, quite frankly, just swing freely, a free swinging door. There are 4 shims, and let me give you the thicknesses of them, or at least archiving the thicknesses of them in this video. This thin one is 0.063 inch thick. I've got another one that's 0.124. A second one that's 0.124. A third that's 0.124. So you've got three that are an eighth of an inch, then you've got one that's a 16th of an inch. Use those as you need. And then at that, we've exhausted all the pieces in the kit itself. So in summary, if you are converting a floor closer scenario to a less expensive surface-mounted closer, you will have a problem if you remove the floor closer. And there are ways to disengage the spring power from that. But in this event, it just simply doesn't matter. You're going to bridge over that area, and you are simply going to ride on this. You're going to bypass the closer. And that's what this is for. Again, you might need these shims, and certainly keep any old shims that you have, because you might need them. There's a note on here. This pivot is designed for retrofit. You may encounter unusual field conditions that affect the installation or operation of the National Door Control Pivot conversion. The bottom line is, this may be perfectly suited for many instances that you will encounter. Others might require a little bit of additional work. It's impossible to say how many floor closers have existed over the several decades. Several and many. So there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the National Door Controls products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website as well as a link to the catalog. If you have any questions on the National Door Controls NDC 100 Retrofit Pivot Kit for center hung floor closers, or any other NDC product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.